Good afternoon. It's Sunday, March 15th, and you're watching Roasting the Press. Marianne is here with me almost immediately, and Richard is coming on right now.
Yeah.
How is everybody feeling today? Richard?
I am sore, and I'm tired, and I've got insomnia.
How come?
Because of my soreness.
What did we do about that? I mean, the hot bath isn't working. You need something stronger.
Don't have a bathtub, so I guess a hot bath doesn't work.
Yeah. What about and you've got something?
I've got a minor case of amusement, but also my bones are a little stiff.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the tendonitis from logging in wood. You know what we almost need? Geez, we need Curatron PEMF machines. Did I just bring us into our sponsor?
Yeah, we have a sponsor tonight, just so everybody knows. Tell us about the sponsor.
Curatron PEMF pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. It has been in the company since the year 2000, and I brought this in as it really is a nice complement to ESS 060. Mm-hmm. And we find that the Curatron is a really nice one. It developed, it's like almost like a med bed frequency generation. Mm-hmm. And it's just revitalizing. So I think we can flash it across the screen. Curatron, you can go to our website.
We will put the location for you to take a look at the Curatron in our show notes, which will be up on the Substack tomorrow morning. And Marianne, before you go, tell us a little bit about how it works.
Well, again, like ESS 60, it's something that attacks free radicals, and it attacks inflammation, and it just is a general well-being frequency. It's going to give you the inverse of all the nasty frequencies that you're getting from things like 5 and 6G. So what you're actually getting is healing.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a number of what they call like these machines. One is the Curatron Flash, which has just come out, Ultra Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're lying on this sort of bed, you feel a sense of just such rejuvenation, the different frequencies. I loved it. It really healed me. I was able to just sleep like a baby. So this might be.
I think it sounds like a good idea. It's well worth exploring. This is our first time putting up a fairly formal ad like this. We will improve substantially in the future. One thing that I'd like to do is to put up the website so you can find out more information about the Curatron yourself, and to also put up a couple of graphics.
And we will provide an interview coming up.
Yeah, we're doing an interview with who's the Curatron guy?
The Curatron guy is coming from Israel, and he is Ben. And Ben has got some, Ben Phillipson has got some amazing ways of describing how this frequency is delivered to you. I first noted them in 2016. It saved my life, in my view, in my opinion. It did, from what I was going through. And it was so invigorating and really made a difference.
Okay.
Okay.
We look forward to telling.
Inflammations.
We look forward to telling everybody in our audience more about the Curatron as time goes on, and hopefully you will benefit from it, and hopefully we will get a little something back every time you purchase from Curatron, and hopefully we'll all benefit all of it.
So take it away. We're in an ice storm up here.
Yeah, it's one of those wild and adventurous days tonight. We have an ice storm. The electricity keeps going on and off. And all sorts of weird stuff's going on. Richard, how's your day been?
Well, it's been really nice, actually. I took my trip to town and did my shopping and grabbed my Raven coffee, and still finishing it off. And yeah, so anyways, it was a nice day. It was actually, the road wasn't too bad. Everybody who's traveling the Forestry Service Road really complains about the potholes as I do. And of course, today was actually not too bad. It was actually pretty good. So,
well, you're a very lucky man. You told me before we started that it's about 5 degrees above out where you are. It's about
that's right.
3 or 4 below out where I am, and there's rain and there's snow and there's sleet and there's ice falling off the roof here. Hopefully for power till the end of the program.
Well, Tuesday we get double-digit highs here. And it stays above zero overnight. So that means that I won't have to burn as much wood in the fireplace anymore.
There are some advantages living on the east coast of Canada in the winter.
West Coast.
West Coast. Left coast.
Okay, left coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we go on to our first piece? We've been distracted and all over the map here for the last few minutes.
Okay. I'm just gonna let Rocky in.
It's what? Okay, go let Rocky in, and I'll do the intro.
Yep.
Now, here is something I had completely forgotten about. According to yesterday's Us Weekly post, under this title, "How to Watch the 2026 Oscars: Date, Time, Host, Presenters, Performers, and More." This is what I forgot. The 2026 Oscars begin later tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC and on a bunch of other places as well. I didn't even know the Oscars were still an ongoing thing, but evidently they still are. And as outlined in the March 6th, the Harvard Gazette post under the title, "Who Still Goes to the Movies?" That's mostly because most of us no longer go to the movies.
Right.
And according to, pardon?
That's right.
Yeah, we don't, even Rocky, you've got Rocky down there tonight. He doesn't even go to the movies as much as he used to. He looks very happy though.
Yeah. He watches the movies when I download them here.
And that makes you normal. That makes you normal like me, and that makes you normal like pretty much all of the movie-going audiences.
Yep.
Because according to Who Still Goes to the Movies, a survey from last October shows that the percentage of moviegoers who frequently see films in theaters decreased from 39% in 2019, the year before COVID, to about 17% last year. And in another poll conducted last year, 75% of Americans said they had recently opted to stream a home movie, just like you said you did, instead of watching it at the theater. And there's some exceptions to what's generally happening. For example, Gen Z, the youngest of us, have begun attending movies more. Most of us think it's just a good way to meet people. They were locked down more than all the rest of us during COVID, and they want to get out and they want to socialize more. But to be fair, for the rest of us, there are also fewer movies being produced, and they are making less money. Now, the mechanics of the industry are also changing. And for more on that, I'm going to show you a little bit of a March 13th, 2026 Bloomberg Originals on YouTube post under the title, Why Hollywood is Facing a Very Unhappy Ending. Here we go.
Hollywood is very much a factory town, and the widget that we make is entertainment.
Across the board, everyone is creative, from the directors to the writers to craft service. Everyone has a talent.
Some people come out here sort of on accident and find a place inside of the circus, and I think that some people are kind of called.
Pilot season, upfronts, awards campaigns. Hollywood moves in cycles. But now, the cycles have slowed a lot. It's a reset, and no one knows where the new baseline is.
If you spoke to the average worker in Hollywood, you'd hear existential dread. You've seen a pretty dramatic reduction in output, a lot of layoffs, fewer jobs. So it's just been a dark period.
Los Angeles has visibly turned into what I would call a ghost town.
Employment in California's motion picture industries peaked in 2016, but was decimated by the pandemic. And despite a surge in streaming, the actors and writers' strikes meant a massive loss of jobs that show no sign of coming back. Big tech disruption, mega mergers, and the looming threat of AI has left Hollywood in shambles.
What are you doing? Can't help these people? Are you insane?
I never thought this crap would happen in my lifetime. We're just in this inflection point right now where everything's converging. Not great economics, bad business models, audiences that are fragmented.
Have they forgotten what a star looks like?
That's pretty dramatic.
It is.
It must have scared you away there for a moment, or else you're putting more wood in the fire.
Well, I did that, but I'm also putting some goat's milk butter onto a muffin.
Now that sounds pretty healthy. I make, huh?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I'm gonna go back to the diatribe anyway, if that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've got a few things to say about Hollywood stuff, but yeah.
Okay. Now the October 25th, 2025 No Film School post under the title, Hollywood is dying, 42,000 jobs gone in just 2 years. First off, that's out of a total of 140,000 jobs. So Hollywood lost 30% of its jobs in 2 years, and it's lost more since then. But according to the No Film School post, Hollywood has not yet recovered from the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild strikes. Those were 2 years ago. And the streaming bubble has burst. No major companies are pulling back on content spending after years of explosive growth. They're not putting any more money in. They don't think it's profitable. Now, the fires, that these were things you and I covered several years back. The Hollywood Hills fires uprooted many on the west side of the city, and rebuilding is slow. I'm thinking maliciously slow compared to some of the because of some of the stories we've talked about in the past. And a lot of people from Hollywood have opted to leave town. California has also lost significant ground to competitors. Now, the state now ranks 6th in the world for filming, behind Toronto, where I used to live, behind the UK, behind Vancouver, behind Central Europe, behind Australia as well. And between 2020 and 2024, an estimated 71% of projects pitched to California, to the state of California, failed to secure the tax credits they needed to move forward within the states. Now, there's also the changing technology. We've discussed this, Richard. You and I have discussed the various Star Trek iterations, some of the other AI technology online. We've done some pretty fancy songs using AI technology. And it's well worth noting again that emerging AI technologies are allowing filmmakers to create content off laptops in seconds, where it used to take hundreds of experts and millions of dollars of time and effort to do anything useful. Now, Hollywood unions are also facing intense structural crisis. This is far, far worse than the traditional short-term collapse and recovery that's traditionally epitomized the city. And this new crisis is characterized by plunging production levels, massive job losses, permanent job losses, not just temporary, permanent, and dwindling revenue for the various corporations. Industry analysts are describing the situation as a death spiral or a great contraction. And technology is also beginning to consolidate around Hollywood. Amazon bought MGM a couple of months back. Disney digested 20th Century Fox already. And Netflix has just been outbid by Paramount Skydance. Now, the new head of the combined Netflix and Paramount Skydance company is a guy named David Ellison, and he expects $6 billion in synergies between the three companies. I translate that from business speak to mean layoffs and shutdowns. Anyway, David Ellison expects to save $6 billion over the next year by right-sizing Paramount Skydance, Netflix, and all the other companies coming with that deal. Now, Ellison's dad is Larry Ellison, who used to be my boss years and years ago. He owns Oracle Corporation. He's the 11th richest man in the world. He also got together with Donald Trump, Trump's first day in office, to talk about AI and how AI is going to make the world a better place. He also owns TikTok these days. And I bet there are lots of synergies there as well. And here's the punchline. Since politics has always been downstream from culture, and culture is collapsing into technology, I got to ask, Richard, what do you think is going to come next?
Well, don't forget, Trump is making 100% tariff on all movies made outside the United States.
He is, but that hasn't stopped those movies from moving.
No, they don't care because they're going to stream it into the United States and not worry about the tariffs.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Hollywood is, I don't know if there's a way to save Hollywood.
No. And of course, I've always said in all my shows I've been talking about Hollywood, if you want to find out what's going to happen, watch some of the shows from Hollywood because they're going to tell you what's going to happen. Star Trek is a fine example of that.
What does Star Trek suggest is going to happen?
Well, you and I have talked about this many times, that a lot of the episodes in Star Trek are basically things are starting to happen that were shown in an episode of Star Trek. AI.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
The AI in Star Trek was a good AI in most cases.
Not always. The Ultimate Computer was a bad one.
Yep.
Return of the Archons, the AI was a bad one.
Yeah.
The Changeling, that was a bad AI as well, wasn't it?
That's right. Now, that's why I said that most of them were good. There was a few bad ones that showed you what can happen if you don't have AI under control.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And of course, people don't understand AI. They just think, oh, it's a great thing. Oh, it helps me write my stories, my speeches, and does research for me, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? It's lying to you in most cases.
Yeah.
You have to be aware of what AI can do. And it can create wonderful lies.
Mm-hmm.
And it can publish them for you.
Yes.
And of course, as soon as it publishes those lies, then it becomes part of the system that confuses other AIs.
Yeah. No, I agree. We got to be cautious about AI.
Mm-hmm. And Hollywood was the one that was predicting a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the most interesting thing about it, all this stuff. Hollywood predicts, tells you what's going to happen in our society.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at a lot of this stuff to do with robots and things like that, AI or the Hollywood is showing those things.
I agree that there's a component of predictive programming in what Hollywood has done for the past, but I think the point I'm trying to make is that traditional media is dying, Hollywood among them, and without Hollywood to reinforce American values and baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. What's going to happen next? Marianne, you're here.
Well, I'm going to pose a question. Is it possible to consider this out of an infinite number of possibilities that exist?
Okay.
Is it possible that some people who have a lot of money, who would be steering things like Hollywood and singers?
You mean the Ellisons?
The Ellisons of the world, the CIAs of the world. Is it possible that in some cases they will steer screenwriters and then the actors to act things out because they want the effect to happen? So, for example, if in 1960s they wanted us to build AI, okay, how are they going to get us to build AI? They project all of these films and shows that show us is AI that's coming out, and we take that in and we just start making it. Is it possible that it's working like that?
I agree it's possible. And I go so far as to say it's more than possible. It's what was done. But that's breaking down.
Oh, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just trying to unravel, because I mean, Richard made the point of why it's so telling of what we're seeing. And I'm going to suggest that the magic may be, like the curtain, unravel the curtain of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of men and women who are conjuring up, we want this effect to happen. So in order to get humans to do this effect, we have to get it in their minds through all of these programs.
Yeah.
And they will actually concoct it. So for example, in the 1960s, suppose they decided we want to have a huge, massive world wars, then they could have films about it or different types of things that it gets into the brain of the people watching, and then they start to actually create the reality.
No, I agree with that 100%. We've talked about that before. But what I want to talk about now isn't so much what happened in the past. What happens now when any one of us can counter program against CBC or Hollywood or any government organization? What happens then?
Well, maybe those steering the ships who have the money are realizing that people are starting to realize and wake up to what's going on. So that's why they're fast forwarding agendas so quickly as they are, because maybe some of the people, even in fact, the Actors Guild in Hollywood, started to realize this is what this is really all about. We brought in because we may have signed up because we wanted to create magic for entertainment. And now we're finding out that we have been had because we've been used to do something that's not always a good thing. And you could have, because you've got a massive awakening or realization globally, maybe that's why those that have the money that are steering this, who stole the money, figured out a way to make money to be able to control are panicking. And
I would agree that a lot of the rich people, a lot of the elites are sort of panicking. They're not totally sure what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And other members of the elites are so concerned over what will happen next that they're intent on tracking our every move, our every purchase, our every action, or every thought, in order to keep on top of what's going on. So maybe that's part of what's happening with all these changes.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
And the other thing too is the Terminator series is something that's is starting to happen.
yes,
Yeah. Anthropic 2 weeks ago.
what I'm suggesting is that it didn't need to happen. That those programs and there's much more not just those, but other things that got into our heads tried to zoom us up to create it, and then we're starting to figure it out now. And for that reason, the totalitarian tiptoe, quote David Icke, is now becoming a sprint.
Yep.
Could be, but they're obviously not going as fast as they want to, and they're not succeeding as they think they should.
They won't.
I don't think they will
They
either.
won't.
I won't.
There will be a lot of casualties, but they will not. They will self-destruct because we've seen cycles in history. We've seen how this goes. They will all self-destruct. I mean, all of the collapse of economy and companies that those people at the top with the money think that they don't realize it's going to hit them.
Yeah.
They will collapse too, but they're not critically thinking.
Right.
So it will fail, but we will sustain a lot of damage and casualties to get there, though.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about the distributed environment of the AI right now gives us an advantage. The collapse of the legacy infrastructures that survived up until now will give us another advantage. Yes. And who knows, maybe there's hope for us at this point. Does that sound fair, Richard?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of hope for us, for the humans.
Well, because let me suggest this. If we're seeing an archonic mimicry, and archonic mimicry mimics something it's mimicking something. So what is money? Stored energy, right? Something of value. How do we enrich ourselves? What could they be copying when we do good deeds and give ourselves out, right? So things like you and Richard, what you're doing. Everybody here now who is doing trying to save things to some degree out of humanitarian spirit, and not because they're getting a paycheck. That's the enrichment. Yeah,
I think from a philosophical perspective, you're absolutely correct. Richard, if you don't have anything to say, I'm going to make some practical suggestions. Does that make sense?
Go ahead.
Did you have a topic? You're going on.
No, I'm going on to the next one. I'm going on to the specific tools we can use to help make the world better.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So you figured it out.
Well, I don't think I figured out all of it.
You got some ideas.
But just the ideas. Yeah, I want to bring on a little 1.5-minute video from Catherine Austin Fitz.
Yes.
And she argues that the old ways are breaking down and the times they are changing. So I thought I'd put that up because our Bob Dylan song from 2 weeks ago got me banned from YouTube. So this is my slap in their face again.
Let's do it.
But here's an example of our choices. This is the March 14th, 2026 Solari report. It's a segment on AI is not going away, and it can be a useful tool in making local politics work for you. Does that sound fair? You guys are not going to hate me for running this piece?
No. I don't think Richard, I'll hate you.
Here we go.
Okay.
What's really, really lovely nowadays is you can either go online and find a template, but even better, is that we're battling AI data centers here in America. They want to pop them up everywhere. You can go on to chat, you can go on to Claude, you can go on to Gemini, and you can actually say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're concerned about, this is what we're looking for. And it can go out there and generate within minutes and a really good public records request or FOIA. Whereas before, it's like, it was very daunting for people. It was kind of like, it was like really intimidating. It's so much easier now, Elsa, than ever to be engaged and involved and not be overwhelmed because of AI. And I know there's downsides to AI, but I say to folks, it's not going away, and you might as well use it as a tool to protect yourselves and to educate and to generate documents that otherwise most people would find very intimidating. AI has been used on us for many years. In fact, I have no doubt COVID was AI driven, right? Like they already knew how we were going to respond and they had it all lined up for us, right? That's why I always felt like, how do they know what we're thinking or what we're going to do? It's because they probably were using AI. But I say to folks like, if you're in a war, are you going to use a bomber or are you going to use your bow and arrow? You're going to use the best tools you have. It's an extraordinary gift. And to not utilize it, and just, as you say, remain disengaged because you're overwhelmed, you'll bear terrible results. Like, just use the tools because they're not going to go away. We have a lot of work to do. We have to figure out how not to use a lot of energy and land and water. I mean, there's a lot of problems with AI data centers. I agree, but also AI can do an extraordinary amount to assist us. And for the residences, the people themselves, not to utilize it while our government is, while the industry is against us, we'd be silly not to use it. And I'm so grateful because I'm not using it as a weapon to hurt. I'm using it as a weapon to protect and to educate and to inform. The other thing I recommend is once you generate your data or your information from, let's say, AI, then you take that information and you go to a different AI. And you say, this is what we're trying to get from it. These are our goals, blah, blah, blah. Can you review? This is what chat said. And that AI will say, oh, that was great. Or the chat was off on this. Or, I mean, you actually have to really kind of, in which we've done, is feed the same information to different AIs and see what they have to say. And you're going to be really surprised. And sometimes AI will say, oh, chat did really good. Or nope, they blew it there. It's a huge learning curve. It's a big learning curve.
Yep. Looks like Chuck froze up. Let's see what happens here. Or see what's happening. And go back to here. It's online. Let's see where we're losing signal here. Because I'm the only one talking right now. Okay. My Starlink shows I'm okay, so his dropped out. Wonder what happened. Anyways, that was an interesting story there about AI. I've always said AI has to be there to protect the people. It has to be there. It can't be attacking the people. It can't be destroying people. It's important that everybody understands that. And if you feel that something is attacking you, well, they're putting together all these wonderful laws now that say there's hate speech and all this stuff. Well, AI can be charged with hate speech. Yes. If it's going to be in there, then guess what? It's going to apply to them too. So yes, we have to be aware of all this. And looks like I'm still doing good. Oh, that must be Chuck. Hello, Chuck.
Richard, power failure here. It's just coming back on now. It should be back on.
Okay, well, I'm still talking. I'm doing one of your rants.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will come back in.
Yep.
I will come back in.
Yeah, you'll come back in because I think I'm still transmitting.
Oh, perfect.
Richard, you are still transmitting. Son of a wow.
Yes.
Did you take a COVID shot? Okay, I'm going to say something which is going to get everybody mad at me.
Okay.
I'm going to quote Ray Kurzweil. Human thinking with AI will become less and less and less till the point when human thinking is negligible. Is there a danger from using this bag of hammers tool? Absolutely. Can we use it? Yes, but I'll put that on a shelf. The danger is I'm just going to plug it in. What's going to happen when you have to think on the spot? Because you're not going to be able to think so long as you keep plugging in, write this up. Danger number one. Danger number two, I've seen the quality of this stuff. It's not organic. Inorganic is not alive. It cannot have the creativity. And here's the war. When you go into that, you're going on the mechanical side.
How about I'm open, but if you listen to what she was talking about, she was talking specifically about the process you can follow to fill out the forms for Freedom of Information request, to do something in like 30 seconds rather than 10 minutes or 2 hours.
Sure, I understand that. So you used your bag, you used your hammer, but the danger is, the kitty has to lose the
She's absolutely not said use the hammer for every problem.
What she's saying is that you got a weapon, use it. I think that is a trap. I think they want us to think that. So we'll adopt this stuff and find ourselves in very dangerous situations. We need to take the good old fashioned way. If you use AI, there is a way to use it responsibly. If I'm teaching English literature, I'm going to say an author wrote this. Do we take it at face value? Well, not necessarily. There could be some correctness, but who's writing it? What's writing it? So if you get an AI, how is it inputted? What's it inputted on messaging? If you're doing it in that analysis, it's okay. But I think the danger's got to be looked at.
I think we got to go back to her specifics again. She has also said that if you want to put together a proposal or a project plan or something, the best thing to do is not rely on one AI program. She mentioned specifically working off 3 or 4 and then validating all the steps and putting together your own.
But again, use your own brain. If you rely on AIs like this, even multiple AIs.
I believe I did say, do more than one, validate the assumptions and put it together yourself. The idea is to enhance your thinking, not to replace it.
That's right.
Think I'm in a minority then. I see it as a very dangerous
I would argue
thing.
I would argue that AI is we are trained to think of AI as a dangerous creature. We are what?
I do agree with Marianne on the fact that and I also know that what we're talking about, Jack, is AI as a tool. Yes. I used Chat GPT to create texts for me. And then I found that the text it was creating was rewording it so that it was not as forceful as what I was trying to put out for the message. So basically, if you're going to be using these tools, make sure that you edit it and that the context that's being presented and the content that's being presented is what you want to see. Yes. Don't let it control you. You control it.
Makes sense. Because you could also, Richard, if you're using ChatGPT and you get your thing and you do get some useful information, you can always also say, well, what feeds ChatGPT? How many people? How are these designs going on and what's feeding it? So you know why it's come out the way it is, and then you can work with it, and then you just change it accordingly.
That's right. Yeah, use your brain.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would also argue that there's distributed AI and there are central controlled AI. The central controlled AI is the AI being funded by the US government right now. They want to control themselves. They want to program it so you get stupid suggestions out of it. So certain amounts of information drop off the state of the earth. Yep. What we need are distributed AI bots that work on individual laptops that we can collect information from, and we know where that information is. They are open source. We can develop an architecture. We can develop an understanding of where they get the data from, and that allows us to retain our power. I'm not suggesting. Part of the power of literature and science is the context it's built around. Part of the part of the story about Frankenstein wasn't just the novel itself, but it was Mary Shelley, her background, the context of the middle 19th century. And as long as we retain the ability to access that information, we are not helpless.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
I agree that if Mary Shelley or say Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale,
yes,
she's not necessarily incorrect in what she's got some really good stuff and she's got good projections. She could be preemptive programming though, so I don't think Margaret would do that. But who is Margaret Atwood? What's her background? Why would she write this? What did she look into? What's she trying to accomplish? How did she do it?
Yeah.
And so then you get those layers and you can work with that.
An open source AI acting as a bot, working from individual computer laptops. First off, is a useful model that retains our power over what's and our agency over the universe. Does that make sense?
Sorry, we got a kitty emergency.
Oh, we let Kitty out. Kitty controls all of us.
Oh no, we got another emergency. Can't get to the box.
Oh dear. We Marianne brought a bunch of wood in, and I think the litter box has been barricaded off. The poor cat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I to me, it's a tool. It's a tool that we have to know how to use.
Yeah.
If we are just accepting what's happening from our overlords, at some point they're going to give us AI that always is like a multiple choice test. It gives us the safe answers and we never learn about anything else. That's not the AI I'm looking forward to.
No. I don't want the military to be using it for destructive purposes.
No, I don't want that either. I think if we all have AI and the government doesn't, that's my idea of heaven.
Yep.
But I'm willing to accept that we have AI that works better than the government's. On Tuesday, I'm going to talk to you about how the war in Iran, about how little $500 drones seem to be working better than $20 million U.S. missiles.
Yeah, I know. What's interesting about this stuff relative to the war effort is that the boots on the ground that they're planning to put on are robots, and they're going to be connected to an AI server. Now, the only way to destroy them in that particular case is to destroy their ability to communicate to their server.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So people keep that in mind, that when you start to see all this stuff happening, you can destroy it by just basically building a huge EMF generator. Mm-hmm. It will destroy any communication capability to the robots that are running around trying to kill you.
And even if we use it as a weapon in our quiver, it will not always be the best weapon to use. But we need to understand the underlying architecture of AI in order to compete against it and to defeat it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And,
so
and that was several of my favorite Star Trek episodes. Like you remember all the Star Trek episodes where Captain Kirk outtalks the robot and convinces them that it's illogical and needs to destroy itself.
That's right. And of course, that's what we can do with this AI. We can have it we can destroy it.
Yes.
We just have to keep it completely confused and it will destroy itself.
Absolutely. I to me that's very logical, very sensible.
Yep.
Anyway, I want to go on to another piece. It's along the same path. Now that Hollywood is dying, it's worthwhile to take a look at what's likely to come next. And I want to start with something you and I have talked about before, a 2012 Larkin Rose video, something called the Jones Plantation. Now, this is a 15-minute early version of the Jones Plantation. I think it's very well narrated. It has some really nice graphics, and it's quite iconic. But what Larkin Rose did, he used that 15-minute presentation to make a movie 10 years later on the Jones Plantation. It was a live action movie. It came out in 2022, I believe. It and it's sort of a cult favorite movie nowadays. And I think it's important to note that now that the technology is available for all of us, we don't have to be Hollywood to build our own movies. And I also wanted to talk to you about the Jones Plantation. Anyway, I think it's a fascinating movie. Even the 15-minute version, it's very subversive. It tells us all really nasty things that we need to know about how the world works.
Yep.
Does that sound fair? Have you ever seen the Jones Plantation before, Richard?
No.
You will love this. Here is the 2012 version of the Jones Plantation. Larkin Rose. Here we go.
You can control a man for a period with brute violence, but you cannot truly own a man unless he thinks your word is law and that he must obey, and is virtuous for doing so.
We are losing money. A little more every month that goes by with no end in sight. They can sense weakness, and they are gonna smell blood like a gator to chum. They're gonna kill us both.
Mr. Scott said this man is a miracle worker. I think he can help us. You're a Nick?
Good people. My name is Mr. Smith. As of this very moment, you are now all free. Free at last.
From now on, we are all in this together.
This plantation will run on equality. I have created something called Jones Plantation Credits.
We're gonna keep them up to their ears in debt.
Jimmy Jack will now be in charge of our new security team to protect this plantation and to serve all of you. You two are gonna have a little contest to see who can win the hearts and minds of the human livestock out there.
Bo Jones!
Most people are weak-minded to wield real power. You must be willing to do what most consider unthinkable.
What most people consider to be unthinkable is that men like you even exist.
That's our greatest advantage. As free people, we work together for mutual benefits, living our love and loyalty to the Jones Plantation.
We are not free. I ain't no slave. They have tricked you into thinking that choosing your own master is the same as being free.
You offer them a truth that they don't want. They want to feel safe.
There's a dark thing going on in this plantation.
Every man deserves freedom, but freedom isn't free.
I'm Nathaniel Jones, and I approve this message. God bless you, and God bless this glorious...
Toodaloo. My apologies. That's the 2022 commercial for the live action Jones Plantation.
Oh, okay. But that sounds interesting anyway.
It looks fascinating. It's all based on what I'm going to run right now. It's a 12-minute version of the Jones Plantation done in 2012. And it's essentially a cartoon, but it's got a really nice announcer in it. Although I don't want to take anything away from the guy in the red suit, he was a fine lead, and he played much the same character. Anyway, let me see if I can pull this up again. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Let me see. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to the video file. Here we go.
Mr. Jones owned a cotton plantation and many slaves. One day he was talking to the owner of the plantation next to his, and Mr. Jones was lamenting the fact that times were tough. He was having to work his slaves harder than ever and was having trouble with some of them being disobedient or trying to run away. The other plantation owner said he knew someone who could help.
Day 1.
One day, Mr. Jones called his slaves together so a man named Mr. Smith could talk to them. Before beginning, Mr. Smith whispered to Mr. Jones, "Whatever I say, do not contradict me or interfere, and I promise you your slave troubles will end." "My name is Mr. Smith," he said to the slaves, "and this may be the happiest day of your lives. From today forward, you will no longer be slaves, but free men." Mr. Jones was so shocked he started to step forward, but Mr. Smith gestured for him to remain silent. He did, only because the other plantation owner had spoken so highly of Mr. Smith's skills. "You are no longer the property of Mr. Jones," Mr. Smith continued. "You are free. No more would you be forced to labor for the benefit of Mr. Jones. Now you can work for yourselves." Now the slaves were all murmuring and looking at each other. Many were smiling, many were looking puzzled. "In fact, you are now free to leave the plantation whenever you want," Mr. Smith said. "However, since we are surrounded by other plantations, if you leave, some other plantation owner will likely claim you as his own the moment you set foot on his property. So I urge you not to risk your newfound freedom by doing something so foolish. Instead, I suggest that you stay here, no longer as slaves, but as willing participants and part owners of this plantation. Yes, this is now your plantation." Mr. Jones bit his tongue to keep from objecting. "For now, we might as well leave Mr. Jones in charge," said Mr. Smith, "since he is the only one with any experience at running a plantation, which is quite a complicated thing to manage. But he will no longer be your master, but just another worker on the plantation. In fact, he will now be using his organizational and management skills to serve you. Whatever problems you may have had with him before, you are now all equals, and you need each other to make this work. If we all cooperate and work together, we can all reap the benefits together. In honor of this happy occasion, I present you this new symbol of togetherness and cooperation, this flag, which shall be the emblem of the new, free Jones plantation." He held up the new flag, but most of those listening were still too amazed to respond. "And this shall be our motto," Mr. Smith announced. "We work together as free men for our mutual benefit, pledging our allegiance to the Jones plantation, which stands for prosperity, liberty, and justice for all. To celebrate, everyone has the rest of the day off. Enjoy your freedom, do as you please, and be back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, so that we may begin work on this great and noble new endeavor as equal free men." Finally convinced that Mr. Smith was serious, the former slaves applauded and cheered.
Day 2.
"We all want this plantation to do well," Mr. Smith said at the beginning of the next meeting, "so we can all share in the benefits. We all know that it takes a lot of effort to make a cotton plantation work. Just because you're all free doesn't mean you can stop working. In fact, since you're now working for yourselves, I expect you to work even harder than ever before, but now with pride and joy, knowing that you're working for yourselves. Of course, there still have to be rules. If everyone just does whatever he wants, the plantation won't produce anything. This experiment will fail, and we'll all starve. You should be thankful that Mr. Jones has agreed to stay on to lend his knowledge and skills to this endeavor, and I trust you will all do your own part to make this work. Several of you have been chosen to act as project supervisors to manage different aspects of the operation, to make sure everyone is doing his assigned job, to make sure that the rules are followed, and so on. The rest of you may head out to the fields to start your first day of work as free men."
Day 3.
The next morning, Mr. Smith had a grim expression on his face as the daily meeting began. "I have an unpleasant duty to do today," he said. "Yesterday, Charles was caught keeping some of the cotton he picked, presumably to sell for his own personal profit. That is against the rules. That is stealing. For that, Charles must be punished." 2 men tied Charles to the whipping post. "I take no joy in this," Mr. Smith continued, "but you must understand, if we do not maintain order, if we do not have rules that we all abide by, then the plantation will fail, and we will all suffer." The whip cracked against Charles' back. "But if we all pitch in for the common good, then we can all prosper. Being free doesn't mean you should be selfish and greedy. We must each do our assigned duties and obey the rules, and then we can all benefit, and each of you will receive your appropriate share of the profits." A young man named Samuel stepped forward. "But if you and Mr. Jones decide the rules and whip us if we disobey, how is that any different from what we had before?" "How can you say that?" Mr. Smith asked. "I'm shocked. You were a slave before, and now you're free. Things still need to be managed and organized by those best qualified to do so. Do you know how to run a plantation, Samuel?" "Well, no," he answered. "But if we're free, why do we get no say in what the rules are and how things work?" "I'm surprised at your ingratitude," Mr. Smith answered. "None of you know how a plantation is run, so you're in no position to be making decisions about how things are done here. You don't seem to appreciate all the things that Mr. Jones provides for you, from protecting you from all the outside threats that you know nothing about, those who would come here, capture and enslave you if not for Mr. Jones' protection, to making sure that you all have food and housing, tools to work with, that you're cared for when sick and injured, and so on. There wouldn't be a plantation at all, no cotton to pick, no land to plant and harvest, if not for him. You should be grateful that he's made possible the level of comfort you now have. Your lives would be far worse if not for him. Nevertheless, as free and equal participants in this endeavor, from now on at each meeting, any worker may have 2 minutes to ask questions or voice suggestions or complaints. With that, the workers all seemed satisfied and headed out again to the fields to pick the cotton.
Day 4.
I have a big announcement, Mr. Smith said as the daily meeting began. Mr. Jones' cousin is here, and not just to visit and see how our project is coming along. It has been decided that from now on, you will be deciding who will manage the plantation. Of course, this job can't be done by just anyone, but every 3 months we will have a special meeting at which all the workers will vote on whether we think Mr. Jones should run the plantation or whether we think his cousin, Mr. Johnson, should run the plantation. That means that ultimately you are in charge because you will be deciding which man you want running things on your behalf. If you don't like the way things are being managed, you now have the power to change it. Amazed and pleased, the workers headed out again to the fields to pick the cotton. Days passed, months passed, a year passed, and the plantation continued to operate as before. Sometimes Mr. Jones was in charge, sometimes Mr. Johnson was in charge, but the day-to-day routine stayed exactly the same. The workers worked hard, long hours every day, and still had little to show for it. Every day the meeting would begin with them all reciting the Jones Plantation motto, "We work together as free men for our mutual benefit, pledging our allegiance to the Jones Plantation, which stands for prosperity, liberty, and justice for all." One day Mr. Smith announced, "Samuel is asked to say a few words this morning, and whatever the rest of us may think of his ideas and opinions, we are all free here, and that means we are all allowed to speak our minds. So, Samuel, you have 2 minutes. Begin." Samuel stepped forward, looking scared. "I was excited when all this started," he began, glancing nervously at Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones. "But don't you all see what's happened here? Nothing's changed. We're all still slaves." There were grumbles of disagreement from the crowd. "They tell us what to do and whip us if we don't. They still make all the rules and punish us if we disobey. They let us make suggestions and complain about things, but they never really change anything. They let us choose between Mr. Jones and Mr. Johnson, but what's the difference? The situation stays the same. We do all of the work and they take as much as they want and decide how much they'll let us keep. They live in luxury, made rich by the cotton we pick. We do all the work and have to build our own huts, grow our own food, and take care of ourselves. They leave us just enough that we don't revolt or run away. This is not freedom. We're all still slaves. They've only changed the words they use, but nothing else has changed. They say we're all free and equal, but we're not. They command and we obey. That's not freedom. That's not equality. They say we're free to leave, but all that means is that we're free to be someone else's slave. Why should we work or obey the rules? We didn't agree to this. They made the system. They forced it on us. They control and rob us and call it freedom. They've deceived you into thinking that being able to choose which slave master you'll work for is the same as being free. It's not. Open your eyes. If you keep what you produce, they call it stealing. When they take what you produce, they call it sharing and fair distribution. Can't you see that this is all? Your time is up, Samuel, Mr. Smith announced calmly. At his gesture, 2 supervisors grabbed Samuel by the arms and led him to the whipping post. "I'm sorry, Samuel, but you've broken the rules. There are rules against encouraging others not to work and encouraging others to break the rules. You're only hurting all of us with your discontentment and your complaining and your disobedience." The whip fell and Samuel let out a grunt. "Without rules, without order, all would be lost. Without law, there would be chaos. We can't just behave as wild animals, each doing whatever he pleases. We must all follow the plan and all do our duty for the betterment of everyone. And those who do not must be punished." The whip fell again and blood flowed freely from Samuel's back. "Samuel, it is you who are stealing from the others. When you don't do your assigned work, you are making more work for others. When you disobey the rules, it is you who are endangering the future of everyone else here. You are the thief. You are the criminal. You are the one trying to destroy the arrangement that keeps us all safe and prosperous. At every lash of the whip, the other workers cheered louder and louder, some yelling curses at Samuel. Being spoiled and selfish, you complain about everything, talking as if you're oppressed. But you are the one ruining things. You are the one keeping us from being all we could be. It is your greed and your rebelliousness that is hurting all of us. They all play by the rules, Mr. Smith said, gesturing at the others. What makes you think that you don't have to? You think you're above the law? There were loud yells of agreement as the whip fell again. We must maintain order, Mr. Smith proclaimed, to make this plantation great, to make it so that we can all be happy and prosperous. To have the society we want, there have to be rules. We all have to contribute our fair share to this great endeavor, and we cannot tolerate actions and attitudes that seek to undermine the amazing things that together as free men we have achieved and will continue to achieve. Mr. Jones was smiling as he gave Mr. Smith a pat on the back. The crowd was cheering so loudly that none of them had noticed that Samuel had died.
What do you think, Richard?
That sounds like the script for Carnage's plan.
You're such a cynic.
Hey, I mean, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I know.
Script in there.
That's I don't know. For some reason, there are problems, at least from my perspective, about the Jones Plantation. I think it's more a parable than an understanding of how many things actually work. But by the same token, there are like massive areas of truth to it, particularly the part about where the people allow us to vote for one of their friends and nothing ever changes.
Right. Yes, that's called selected, not elections.
Yeah,
not elected,
especially around here.
And that's what we have here right now. Is everybody is selected.
Mm-hmm. Particularly in Canada, after the last election. I guess it's about a year ago now, where Carney came in and he promised a lot of stuff that he's actually never done.
Nope.
He didn't stand up to Donald Trump. He didn't negotiate a new NAFTA free trade agreement. He's mostly gone around the world and held speeches for his NATO friends and his WEF friends.
Actually, I disagree with the comment that you made about not going after Donald Trump.
Okay.
He doesn't need to go after him. All he has to do is ignore him and go around the world and talk to the other leaders.
Yeah, good point. So he has gone after Trump in his own way.
That's right, in a different way, behind the scenes. And Trump does not like that because that's not according to his book.
Okay, that's fair.
So, anyways, that's one of the things that he is doing. What I suggested that he did back last year, I think I was talking about this. If you want to get rid of, if you don't agree with Trump, just say no, and go and do things yourself. And I've always said that Canada has to become more independent, to build its own things and do its own work to get the people. Like, we've got to grow our own food. We've always been able to build our own houses because we have all the lumber.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem. And of course, we've always been able to do our things with the steel and aluminum because we manufacture it. We don't have to send it to the States to be processed. We can do it ourselves.
Okay.
And this is what's starting to happen here in Canada. But at the same time, I don't like the way that these bills that Carney's trying to push to basically shut us up.
Shutting down the internet, Bill C-63, Bill C-9.
Yeah, exactly. Those things don't make any sense whatsoever. You don't want to shut the people up because then you're going to stop the people from thinking and creating new things.
Or you're going to start them working against you. Remember John F. Kennedy, those who make free discourse impossible, make violent revolution inevitable. I think that's what he said. It's more of a paraphrase.
Yeah, and I've been saying this for quite a few years that we're due for a massive revolution here in Canada, especially with all these gun laws and all these other things. They're going, basically, it's just going to destroy themselves, because people are still going to have their guns. They're still going to have their bow and arrows. They're still going to have their knives, their axes, and everything else. And that's not going to stop. So, and of course, the people that are going to join the military are going to say, no, we don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Except for those that they're bringing in from the outside, the immigrants.
Except for those who are well-trained soldiers from third world nations or Europe or a nation. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are the ones that we're going to have to be able to terminate very quickly, because they're not real Canadians.
Yes.
And they're going to be coming here just for the money, just to be.
But for all that's worth, that's what the government does when it thinks it's losing control. It starts hiring mercenaries.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, I kind of like that particular show that showed there. It really shows to me, when I was watching it, I was seeing everything that's going on in our country and our world right now is inside that story.
Yeah, I think so too. I find it quite evocative. I enjoy Larkin Rose. I read a couple of his books in his past. I think he's quite iconic. And he's he doesn't get as much PR as he should get. So that's why I thought it'd be fun to run that little video that he put together.
It was indeed.
Shall we go on to our last piece?
Sure.
This is yours. Raw milk versus alcohol laws, I believe.
Yeah, when I saw this, I thought this is perfect.
Yeah.
People have to realize that how stupid the system is. So let's take a look at it.
Here we go. March 14th, Mongo Mind on BitChute post, raw milk versus alcohol laws.
It's wild to me that raw milk is illegal or hard to come by in a lot of places, but alcohol is legal, easy to come by, and is related to more than 100,000 deaths a year in the United States alone. It's almost as if it isn't about your health or your safety, and the system doesn't want you to drink raw milk for a whole other reason.
Yep. The system does not want you to drink raw milk. And if you talk with people, they're going to say, well, because it's got bacteria and everything, it has to be pasteurized. No. I mean, raw milk, if it's drawn properly, is not going to kill you. And I've proven it.
Yeah, I would say it's illegal to sell raw milk. We've been trained to think of it as being bad, but there are lots of farmers up on Manitoulin Island who drink it. It keeps them healthy.
Yep, exactly.
And I've been to their houses once or twice, and they give it to me as a gift, and I think it tastes absolutely wonderful.
It does.
I don't know if they're allowed to give to serve that if I come over for dinner, but I have had it. I haven't been sick. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Yep. And when I was a kid, we'd go up to the uncle's farm up in northern Alberta, and he had the cattle, and watching him milk the cows and the cats that were all around, and he was squirting the milk right into their faces. They just loved it. They just loved it. But when I had some raw milk here, Rocky had a little bit of it, but he didn't really care for it. But he's never been a milk drinker anyway, so.
Yeah, he could just be. He could have other things he prefers. He looks hale and hearty and healthy anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, raw milk is illegal to sell, but yet alcohol is legal to sell. And it's heavily taxed, and it kills people.
And there has been a number of times where I've had some fairly strong reactions to alcohol, mostly in my misspent youth, but every once in a while.
Yep.
And this sort of stuff happens. And you're right. Alcohol is really easy to come by because the infrastructure is set up for the government to benefit from it. That's
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the government benefits from a lot of stuff, and maybe we should benefit from a few more things.
Yeah, and that's got to change. We got to get rid of those stupid laws that require only pasteurized, processed dairy products to be sold in stores.
I agree. We're running a little late tonight. Shall we wind up?
Absolutely. I want to go up and take a shower.
What's on your plate for this week?
Well, I got the story for tomorrow lined up. What is my story for tomorrow? Let's see if I can quickly find it here. One story for tomorrow.
Okay.
And I can't remember how long it is. What's the date going to be tomorrow? Tomorrow's going to be the 16th.
Tomorrow is the 16th, yes.
Yes. Let's just bring up here shows. Go to shows. Come on. Go to shows. Wake up. There we go. 16th. Special presentation. Oh, yeah. This is one with Matt, the guy I do a lot of the health stuff with. He usually does, once a month, he does a half-hour show or more. This one's going to cover eclipse, Iran, fake nukes, military vaccines, and fake viruses.
Something's never changed. We've been running those stories for years now.
Yeah, I know, but this guy puts them all together in one story script, and I've never watched an entire one from start to finish. So this will be the first I get to watch it too, and it will be 37 minutes long. So this is the guy I do that he does a lot of the stuff that I put out here. Like on Tuesday's show, he's doing the one for saline, the vax versus real vax.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So anyways, and he explains that. But anyways, he's going to talk about that with the military vaccines in this particular story.
Okay.
Anyways, it should be a good story. Tuesday is, I got to start editing that. Should start doing that today. Tuesday's the 17th, and I've got 8 stories that need to be edited, and it's going to cover a lot of interesting stuff in there. Iran is effectively run by Jack Nicholson in The Shining. That's one of the stories. That's one of the stories that I've got.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyways, and then of course there's another one about when Bayer, a pharmaceutical giant, merged with Monsanto.
Oh, wow.
That's another short story. Of course, then we talk about giants. Titans and giants have been a real part of human history. These are all stories that are starting to really come out, and we've got the evidence of this.
Wow.
The giant. There were giants that roamed this country, that roamed this river, and they were like 8 to 10 foot high giants.
Okay.
So, but then of course their bodies, I don't think could withstand the gravity, and they didn't last long enough. So, there's also a story on 1902 vintage light spectrums, which is good. So Tuesday's going to be an interesting day for stories, and then Tuesday afternoon, we'll get back together again. And
last week today, 8 p.m.
Yep. And saline versus the vax versus real vax is what we're going to talk about on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then what else was there? So that's it. And then Wednesday, I'm taking the day off again. Thursday, Friday, I've got stories lined up. And I've got to edit all of those. Yeah, wow. I've got to find a long story for Thursday. I haven't got one lined up yet. So, but it'll be interesting. I like my new format. I think people out there do like it. So we cover a lot. And of course, I do my shows at 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 Pacific time.
Because you were a crazy early riser.
Yeah. Now, Chuck, something came to mind this week. Ontario is going to be changing times in the fall there. You're going to fall back 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's going to make us a 4-hour difference, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Instead of a 3-hour difference.
Yeah, it probably will. I don't know if Alberta is going to do the change this fall, though.
Well, I don't know either, but if they do, they'll probably just stay on daylight saving, just so that we don't have that 2-hour difference. We'll have a 1-hour difference to maintain that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
sense.
they just basically say, well, instead of going to change the time, we'll just leave the time the same forever now.
That's okay. That might be wiser. That'll confuse me. I'll be in Ontario.
Yeah, I know, but
always
Ontario
change
might do it.
twice a year.
Yeah, you might just change too. It's hard to say. I mean, with EB doing it the way he did it, he says, "I don't care about anybody else. I'm just going to do it."
You're just going to do it.
Yeah. So, anyways, it'll be interesting in the fall. We'll find out how things go. So, yeah, that's my schedule for this week, and then we'll see you on Tuesday.
Absolutely. As for Freedom Forum, like always, we normally record every Sunday night at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on a variety of internet platforms, including the one you're watching now. We republish the show the next day with notes on our Substack page at chuckblack.substack.com. Most of our stories slide behind a paywall after a month online. So if you'd like to maintain access, the easiest thing to do is to sign up for a monthly subscription. $20 Canadian a month, $160 per year. It entitles you to access archive posts, anything over a month old, plus includes lots of in-depth articles not covered in our regular stories. And we also have a Substack to help you access Freedom Forum stories from your phone and subscriber chat so you can tell us what you really, really want. My name's Chuck Black. I directed the show using StreamYards, which both Richard and I recommend. We both use it, but only if you sign up using either Richard's or my link. We get a little bonus out of this at the end of each month to help defray some of our costs. I would also encourage you, we will be publishing the links in the show notes tomorrow. I would also encourage you to take a look at our sponsors, Keraton Pemp, and some of the other stuff we're bringing aboard as well in order to maybe turn this into a revenue model. And that's all for tonight. Richard, did I miss anything?
No, not that I can tell.
Okay.
You could probably put the comment in the comments. You could have probably put the link to that sponsor.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't think I have it right now. I'll put it in the show notes tomorrow, but is a long-term regular sponsor. Marianne swears by the company. She thinks they do really good work. And I look forward to trying it myself tonight because I have a cold. I want to try something to get over the cold.
Sounds good.
Good night, Richard. Good night, Marianne.
Good night.
I'll see you in a couple days, Richard.
Yep.
Take care. Where did I put the there we go. Here we go. Good night, everybody.